Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar. As part of our Customer Success Initiative, today is the 11th in a series of webinars that we aim to deliver on a monthly basis between product training, product updates, and tips and tricks to help maximize your use of the platform. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation or have any feedback, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. We'll answer as many as we can at the end. If we can't get to all questions, we'll answer them separately by email after the webinar. My name is Chris Dunphy. I'm a Customer Success Manager here in Aphix, and I've been with the company for the past 6 years. I previously led the support team here in Aphix and now work in our Customer Success department. Today, I'll actually be joined briefly with Lindsay, who is our Sales Director in the UK and Ireland, specialising in digital commerce. And today she's joining me to update you on a great Christmas offer we have for you. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Chris. How you doing? Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me hijack your webinar.
No problem at all.
Letting everyone know about the great offer that we have.
Perfect. I'll hand the floor over to you, Lindsay, and afterwards we'll follow up on the overview of the shipping services. But yeah, it's a great offer. We'll go through that now, and I'll hand it over to you. Let me just give you the controls.
Yeah, share my screen. Yeah, and if there's any questions on what I'm going through, I'm going to need to jump off. So I'll share my email address and everything at the end. We might, rather than throwing them all at Chris at the end of the webinar, we might just direct them directly to me on email or give me a call. Hopefully, a lot of you know me already.
Cool. Perfect. Over to you.
Thank you. Brilliant. Are you able to see my screen, Chris?
Yeah, I can see it fine there, Lindsay.
Perfect. Brilliant. Okay, great. So I won't take up too much of this. I know this is a training session, and I'm going to watch it back on the shipping piece because I could definitely learn some more. Every day is a school day here. But yeah, we've got a lot of you may be aware, I've talked to many customers over the last year or so about our new smart packs. But we've got a great offer for Christmas or till the end of the year, but I think we officially finish up on the 22nd or 23rd, so the 31st of December may not apply. But yeah, basically there's an onboarding fee and a license associated with the smart pack, so there's no onboarding fee for the rest of the year. So what is a smart pack? Some of you might be asking. So this is specifically for customers who have our web shop product. I know some of you may be on some of our apps, so it is specifically for web shop. But it is essentially it's a premium add-on for your web shop, so it's an enhanced set of functionality with a slightly I suppose slicker design. If you want to change design, not everyone changes their design with these smart packs, but it's a set of functionality that's on top of the standard web shop functionality, and we've kind of broken them down into different types of smart packs, but there can be overlap. Not everyone who's a builder's merchant needs what's in the smart pack, and someone who isn't a builder's merchant may need something that's in a builder's merchant smart pack. But it's essentially, this is how we present them. But when I have a conversation with you one-on-one, I'll be able to determine what smart pack or what features are suitable for you. But essentially, the by industry, so we've got an offering for spare parts or anyone any type of merchant who's selling kind of those kind of products to the building industry or plumbing industry, etc. PPE, work wholesale and distribution PPE. That one actually can work for lots of different industries, such as it's typically for the safety and workwear space. And then the digital marketing pack, which is actually applicable for anybody who has a web shop and wants to enhance the marketing side of it. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about each of the packs, or three most popular ones anyway, and show you a little bit of how they look and so the functionality, the kind of top pieces with some of them. I'm not going to go into too much detail. As I say, not everything is applicable to everybody, so I'm conscious of that. So what you can do is, I'll share my details at the end, is reach out and we can have a one-to-one chat and kind of see, how you're looking to grow, or how you're looking to maybe enhance the web shop, and is there one of these smart packs that can really help with that, because they can just really bring you up to the next level in terms of either marketing the business or giving your customers a lot more functionality on the site, and that's obviously going to help increase sales and get more footfall on the website. So the digital marketing, this is the one that anybody can implement, that's going to be applicable to anybody that has a web shop. So what does it do? It essentially gives you integration with 3 different third-party marketing solutions. They are Klaviyo, Google Shopping, and Flockler. Klaviyo is an email marketing or a marketing automation platform, which essentially allows you to do a lot of really cool stuff, but essentially email market to your customers, a lot like MailChimp, but a lot more advanced and specific for e-commerce. So you can do things like abandoned cart emails, send customers back in stock notifications. If a product's out of stock, they can sign up for notifications, and also just really track their behavior on the site and do different types of marketing based on that. So if a customer is visiting this section on the site, send them this email. If a customer leaves products in their cart after 6 hours, send them this email. You can get very detailed with it. Or if a customer signs up for notification for this stock, you can even create different levels. Maybe there's only 6 things back in stock and you've got 100 people signed up, so you can assign which customers are VIP and send them the appropriate marketing. So it's really taking your marketing to another level in terms of email marketing and remarketing to customers. It also handles things like forms and pop-ups and lots of other things. I think there's SMS messaging in there. It's constantly adding new features. What I would suggest, if you're interested in this, is look at the Klaviyo is will give you the most benefits in this pack. So I would look at it as an individual platform, because you would need to switch what platform you're using for email marketing. Maybe you're using HubSpot or MailChimp or Sendinblue or something like that. Now, we do have integration with the other marketing platforms for things like newsletter sign up, but for this more advanced marketing, like the abandoned cart, which a lot of customers are looking to do, we have the integration with Klaviyo, and it's just got really advanced features. So I would have a look at that. We can point you in the right direction and share some demo videos and go into more detail as well on a call. The other element to it is Google Shopping. So I know we all know when we're Googling anything nowadays, up the top of our screen is the Google Shopping ad. So it's really allowing you to feature there and allowing your catalog. So with both Klaviyo and Google Shopping, it's about automating a feed of your catalog to those platforms, rather than you having to manually add your products into Google Shopping or into Klaviyo, because if you're sending email marketing out to customers, you want to feature products and pricing and not have to manually upload those products. So your catalog will sit within both Klaviyo and Google Shopping. So it makes it a lot easier. It automates that for you, and then you can work away using the Google Merchant Center, which is where you will set up your Google business profile and your ads there for Google. So it allows you to sell on Google Shopping. That is for B2C only. With Klaviyo, we can do email marketing for both B2C and trade, B2B. And a lot of the time when I'm talking to people, there's an assumption that digital marketing like this is only for retail or B2C. That's very much not the case anymore. Most of our trade customers want to market to their customers just in the same way. That's how we're used to being communicated to, both in business and outside of it, and it's very much part of the B2B landscape as well now. And then Flockler is the third one, and that is around social media. So having a feed of whether it's your Twitter, your LinkedIn, Instagram, etc., on your web shop. So you can have an automated you can have carousels or feeds on certain pages showing your Twitter and etc. on your web shop. So with this pack, you get access to all 3 of those. You may not need all 3 of those, but you can have access to it. So it may be that you only want to do Google Shopping right now, and that's quite common. Or you want to do something like Klaviyo to do abandoned cart emails, but you have access to all elements of the pack, and you can actually self-enable them as and when you need them. But if you just need one of them as well, you need the pack also. So that's the digital marketing pack. Again, that's applicable to absolutely everybody. It's both B2B and B2C that it will work for. So give me a shout if you want to get some, see some examples of that and see how some other customers are using it and get a little bit more deep into it. The spare parts, as I say, we call these industry specific, but some of this functionality, there's other customers that are using it that aren't selling spare parts, for example. So the spare parts pack is essentially does work very well for anyone selling spare parts, obviously. And we work with lots of customers in this space. And so over the years, I suppose we've developed, from working with these type of customers, we know what functionality they need. And, in times past, sometimes they had to do these things as customizations, etc. What we've done is packaged up, productized and packaged up the best of this functionality in these smart packs that are available as instant add-ons for customers. So this functionality can be enabled very easily. We're not coding it or building it for you. We are. Oh, sorry, I think there's an issue with my screen sharing. Sorry, am I still sharing my screen okay there, Chris? Something started flashing up. I think I'm
Yeah,
okay.
no, it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's some sort of a notification or something, and it paused my screen share. I thought I had everything turned off. Obviously not. Yeah, so these are the top kind of features of this pack. So the main thing with this, it's with parts and customers that we have thousands upon thousands and often hundreds of thousands of products, and categorizing all of that, and the search for customers around all of that is so important. Getting to the product and knowing what part is compatible with what machine. A simpler platform, I suppose, can handle. So we've got a lot of tools and a lot of knowledge in the business as well around this. So if you are looking to facilitate what we call a deep search, so it might be easier just to actually show this on rather than talk about it. Let me jump out of this. I doesn't want to leave. So this is the spare parts pack. And again, there could be a different design theme. A lot of people are just, want to keep the one they have. But if you're on an older design and you're looking to update it as well, the spare parts pack will come with an updated theme. So if I'm doing things, this can be four blocks across as well. I can have an additional one here. Actually, if you look at a customer here, they'll do it a lot nicer than our demo sites. You can see this customer here. I can do a 3-part search for a product and find what I want really quickly, rather than having to go to a category, a subcategory, another subcategory, or searching like that. I can narrow my search down really quickly. If I'm in a product here on our own site, here, for example, I'm also being able to be directed to what brands this is applicable to, and then there's special pages and categories for those brands. I'm also able to see the compatibility of this part for different machines. So this is all around the category structure, and we will train you how to do this, but you're putting the different models into different categories, etc. So I'm able to see what other parts this is applicable to as well. I can do things like give an available to promise date. This says get it within 3 days, but this can be an actual date that we pull from your ERP. Just trying to think, the other main thing with this is then superseded products. So if you have a product that is discontinued, but people will still search for that part number, for example, and you want to be able to present an alternative, we can set this up, and it would be integrated with your ERP to obviously suggest the relevant product. So even if they still search for that old product, they'll still find it, but we then redirect them to the correct one. So that is kind of on a very high level, the spare parts. So obviously we can give you a demo of that and show you a lot more how that works. The builder's merchant then is one of the other ones that we're going to look at, and this is essentially anyone who's a merchant who's either selling, who either has multiple branches, this can be very suitable for this if you have stock in multiple branches, or if you're selling anything by square meter, or flooring, tiles, anything like that, and you need to be able to calculate obviously how much I need to buy. So many boxes of tiles do I need to buy, or for my square meter, etc. Maybe you have there's a lot of time in the merchant space that we need to split a cart to have collection and delivery within the same order, so it allows us to do that. And then some of the there'll be crossover in some of the products as well, so we can do that alternative products piece. Sorry, crossover in some of the smart packs, some with similar features on both of them. And for example, if you are buying the builder's merchant pack and there is a small feature from the spare parts pack that you need, we will allow a little bit of crossover there as well. So it's not, I suppose, a one box fits all. Things like being able to show prices X or Inc VAT, there's a switcher on that, and then just some tools around doing special offers, a lot more easy. So if I look at this, this is our demo site for the builder's merchant. Again, we can give a more detailed demo to anyone interested. You can see here I can switch stores, for example. This customer here is doing it an awful lot better. They have a lot more stores set up, so I'm able to choose my branch, and then it'll show me my stock for that relevant branch. And more importantly, on the order, you'll be allocating the stock of the relevant branch in the ERP. I'm able to do that brand piece again, where I can have these kind of brand associated pages, and then I'm able to add the product either for collection or delivery. Now, there's a few different variations on how you can do this with showing stock in multiple places. And so if I add 3 of these for delivery, and now you obviously wouldn't do the same product like this, but just to give an idea, and I jump into my cart here, you can see I have 2 different carts essentially going on, items for delivery and items for collection. So I have that split cart, I have that multi-branch, and then I'm able to do things like calculate flooring. Just going to jump into this particular product here. So this is some decorative aggregates. If I want to work out how much of this I need, because it's got a price based on square meter, I might want to put in a bit of wastage there as well. It's going to tell me I need 11 packs, and it's going to pop them in the cart for me automatically. And there's a few different variations of how you might want that to work, length, width, etc., for different pieces. So on this as well, I've got a price per square meter. So these are quite merchant specific. You know, if I'm selling jewelry or clothing, this isn't going to be applicable to me, but it's very applicable to the merchant space. And there's some other features within that as well. And again, we can look at that on the demo. So give us a shout if that one's of interest. This is one we have around a long time. It's the last one I'm going to talk about very, very briefly. So I need to hand back to Chris. This is our uniform management solution. I think it should be called budget management, because that's really what it is, and it's applicable to lots of different industries. But it came about, I always give a very simple example of Tesco. If you work in Tesco, and Tesco isn't our customer, I just use this as an example that everybody can understand. But essentially, as an employee of Tesco, with this solution, I would have the ability to essentially log on to a website, see my uniform allowance for the year. So I might have 2 pairs of trousers, 2 shirts, and a jacket, and that's my budget for the year, my allowance. And I'm able to buy, as an employee, I don't have, no one at the head office level needs to buy this for me. Someone in head office will be setting those budgets and setting up different departments within the uniform management solution, which looks a little bit like this. So this is, so I have now I've got various different scenarios here for different demos I've been doing, but you could have engineers that you're supplying safety gear and clothing to. It could be a medical team that you're supplying uniforms to. And then we have some customers in IT equipment and things like that. So maybe it's a new employee and they get a laptop and a phone and whatever it is, and that's their allowance. So it can be managed rather than managing this, so it's really to help your customers, your customer, to order more easily from you and manage their own procurement process around budgets and allowances. So, and there can be approval processes within this. If I go over budget, that I can still request items and it needs to be approved by a manager, or that all orders need to be approved, and there can be variations on that depending on employees' different seniority. So it's a really great tool for being able to allocate budgets and employee allowances, and it can also run reports on that as well. So if you had this set up on your web shop, it would be an extra tab within the dashboard when they log in, and depending on whether they were an admin or they were just an employee, they would have different views. An employee would just be able to see their own uniform and their own budget and order that, and then an admin would be able to maintain those budgets, run reports, and add new employees, etc. So it's a great tool for anyone needing where their customers need to manage that purchasing process. And again, if you want to speak to me on that or any of the other smart packs, a lot of you might have my Lindsay@aphixsoftware.com email address. You'll still get me on that. or lturner@experlogix.com. Or, you know, if you go through support, they'll send it to me, or whatever's easiest for you, or give the main office a ring, just ask for sales and you'll get to speak to myself. But yeah, if you have any questions, just come to me directly, because I don't want to take away from Chris's shipping conversation. But yeah, I've covered a lot there, so we would need to kind of go into talk to you individually to see which smart pack is applicable for you. But there is that zero onboarding fee till the end of the month, so I look forward to hopefully hearing from some of you and having some conversations around that. Chris, that's me finished. I'm happy to hand it back to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's brilliant. That's really good. Appreciate that. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I didn't give you much notice, so I appreciate it. I hope I haven't taken too much time away from what you're hoping to do.
No, you're grand. Part of the we'll touch a little bit on slightly on on one of the advanced sections here. We were just going to touch lightly on the split carts, so it'll be fresh in people's minds towards the end. So that's good. There you go.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Awesome.
Great. Thanks for having me. We'll hopefully chat to a few of you soon. Take care. And if I don't chat to you, have a good Christmas. I think it's appropriate to now say have a good Christmas. we're just getting into that season. Great. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Lindsay. Cheers. Now I'll just share my screen again. 1 second. Perfect. So for those of you who have joined in the last few sessions, we've demoed our new management interface, our visual page builder tools. We've delivered a practical set of CMS training aimed at tips and tricks to get the most out of blocks and visuals. And Lindsay was actually on a webinar back in April with Nano around managing multiple catalogs. Last month's session was centered around a walkthrough of SalesRep, our mobile app for van sales and for rep selling, and what it has to offer and how it works in conjunction with your ERP. This session is a walkthrough of shipping services and how it works. So yeah, I suppose how it can be configured within the web shop digital commerce area. So we'll have a Q&A at the end as well. What we will be getting out of this today would be, well, we're going to run through kind of in no specific order in such, because some parts of this, when I'm going to be demoing it to you, will kind of overlap on certain areas. So it'll be as structured as I can possibly make it. But what I hope that you'll get out of it would be, well, I suppose I'll get to that momentarily, but what we'll be running through would be setting up tiered shipping, prioritizing bulky products, shipping based on price or weight, setting up express services, touching on kind of postcode, zip code restrictions, and some advanced areas. And the takeaways today would be, you'll be able to understand, I want you to be able to understand if your web shop theme supports shipping services and or what's needed to migrate from shipping units to shipping services. So like I will touch base on this when I'm sharing my screen, but really you'll kind of know, if you're familiar with the management interface, you'll know straight away if you're not using shipping services. Shipping services gives admins like yourself the ability to set up a wide variety of shipping metrics based off of different options. With shipping units, the kind of older metric system, which is still in place for some web shops, just because it's not something that we turned on for everyone, because it would impact on your shipping, and you'd have to put time in to control your shipping or just to set up your shipping. For anyone who's using shipping units, it's a lot more simplistic, as we will be able to show. But contact our support team or myself, and we'll be able to look at maybe moving you over or migrating you over to shipping services to give you that additional option. To control and prioritize between multiple shipping tiers and kind of the logic of how it works. For example, somebody asked me a while ago, why would you set a priority on your shipping tiers within the services. It's easy. It's kind of easier to show it rather than just out and out explain it. So we'll be able to kind of show different user case scenarios of how that might work, and kind of some practical reasons around it as well. You'll be able to understand how to configure shipping costs based on multiple parameters such as the customer, the product, the weight, location, postcode, and so forth. And we'll just touch on some advanced areas such as like like as Lindsay mentioned, like split carts, postcode integration, things like that. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we'll go through the practical nature of it. Again, if you have any questions, do type them in to the GoToWebinar question box, and we'll take a look at those at the end, and I'm sure we'll be able to answer all of your questions on the call. If not, we'll come back after, but there should be enough time to go through everything. 1 sec. Now you should be seeing my screen here as far as I can see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so I suppose just to start off with, I'm currently logged in as a rather I'm not logged in, I should say. Sorry. Excuse me. I'm just going to pull up a set of notes quickly. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so set as a guest customer, so we can just quickly run through. I think I have one small product added to the cart. It's automatically showing me a shipping cost of €10. I changed it, and I think I changed that to standard. It's changing it to $7.50. Makes sense. I'd pay more for express shipping. Also, if I was changing that to a country like Germany, you'd imagine, because it's going further afield, it's going to charge me more. There's different variables around that. So in terms of how it's set up. So if I jump into the management interface, under the shipping model the shipping section that we have here, as you can see, this is what shipping services looks like rather. As I mentioned there a moment ago, it would be slightly different to what you may have seen before in terms of shipping units. So I'll just give you a quick look of what the shipping units module looks like, just in case you're not sure if you have it or not. So this is so this is one of our older demo sites, and I think on the current management interface I can actually even observe it. Let me see. Settings. Sorry, I'll have to come back to you on that one there. Should be a much more simplistic view of shipping here. Yeah, I'll have to come back here in this. I should be seeing a button called shipping again, but it's all it gives me the option is just a very, very limited set of variables for shipping. Okay, I'll come back on that anyway afterwards. If there's somebody who doesn't see the shipping tiers screen as I do, please come in to me and we'll be able to have a conversation around that. Okay, so you can set up as many tiers in shipping services as we see here. I'm just going to sort it by the status of what's active at the moment. So the ones that I have set up at the moment are Express and Standard. You can label them however you want. If I click into Standard, and you can see what the label, if you don't add in a label, it just defaults to the name. You can see here we have shipping method is Standard and Express. The term shipping method or the label itself, that's something that's translatable, as we went through on one of our other webinars. So that's something that's like hard coded, but it is a translation. So I wonder if we take just a look at shipping method, then in localization, translations, and we have shipping method. So we can change shipping method to something else. If there's another type of text you want to display as a label, that can be changed there. In the tiers itself, if I click into Standard, for example, I can see here that what we have set up as the main service charge is to use a product code. The product code should ideally be a product code that is related to a shipping code that's on your ERP system. Depending on your ERP system, and the integration that we have with that system, it may be going in as a product SKU, or it may be going in as a shipping charge or a courier charge. But it's something that, again, you can, if it's not going in how you want it to, come into our support team and we can work with you to get it to apply how you want it to work. In this case, we're just saying the charge type is a flat fee. There's different variations of what that can be. But what we're saying is it's a flat fee of €7.50 where the value of the cart is less than €100. And that is one of the metrics that you can choose here. There's different metrics, and sometimes there's custom metrics that are available per customer. So for example, on this screen here, I don't see anything about the weight or the weights being a factor, simply because the ERP that I'm connected onto now, there are no weights in it. So there's no weights in the ERP, therefore the assumption is that your shipping would not be based off of weights. So that's it. It's really a case that you need to voice up and say either whether it's a web shop being implemented or that you're already live and you now want to use weights as a metric. You need to come into our support team or myself, and then we can work with you to help take in the weights that you want and then apply them to be the basis for what your shipping is, at least broadly. So in this case here, we're saying that the cart net total is less than 100. If it's less than 100, charge $7.50, and we can see that here. So we can see if we're going to say Ireland standard, $7.50. But if I change that to be 100, then that's using a different metric. So that's saying that's €749, and it's applying €5 shipping. So it's obviously going on to another tier. So you can see here, now you have the next level. So it's saying, again, use that same delivery code, flat fee of €5, where the cart net total is greater than or equal to 100. And be very careful now because, on these, because there's different metrics when a term comes to the value. There's like is equal to, greater than, but then, you know, what if something is like 100? If something becomes, if somebody is like getting it, I know this is a rarity, but it does happen. If the cart total is like bang on 100 and you have the metric set to, you know, is greater than 100, but then you have the next tier down is, sorry, this one here might be is less than, but then this one here might be is greater than 100. So if the two values are the same, there's going to be a bit of broken logic. So you might just have to play around with using the correct rule to be like, you know, change that to be 99.99, and then that's 100, 101. Do you know, so it just knows that you're covering all bases in terms of what that tier might be. And then, so what this is saying is, regardless of whatever charge greater than 100, or now 101 cent, charge €5. But if I was to just say delete that rule, and save that. So the difference now is, all I'm saying for standard is where somebody is choosing, and I'm not specifying a country, so this is broad for kind of any country. Again, the devil is in the detail. So now when I refresh the page, let's go back to Express. Standard. Oh. So again, that's applying the fee of 750. Sorry, Ireland standard. That's applying that rule of 750. But if I change that to be 15, that quantity, it's going on to a different tier. It's jumping onto Express. So yeah, I think it's jumping onto Express because there's no rule for over 100. So we need to add back in that rule so we can make sure that there's something in place that goes over that certain value. So you can see there that playing with the rules, how it affects that. So now we're going to say there's an additional rule in place where we're saying, and the shipping country is one of Ireland and the UK. And then we'll add in an additional rule again. So we'll add a new charge. We'll say, let's use delivery C, flat fee of 0, where the cart net total is greater than change that to 99.99. So we're saying where something is over €100 and shipping country is Ireland, UK. There we go. Sometimes it just gets a bit cached and it has to catch up with itself. So yeah, you can see there that for countries now where the value is over 100 euros, where the shipping metric is shipping method rather is standard, it just applies. The shipping is free, basically. So that's just a very simplified version of how that works. Just going to go through something here. So we're going to look at looking at the tiered shipping method. So some customers have wondered recently, what's the priority mean? So if we take a look at something in the we'll take a look at something like what's Express, because Express has a lot of sets in it that we can play around with. So delete that charge for the moment. So the priority that we have here on this is something that's based off of the contents of the cart. Again, I'll go through this in a bit more detail as I go along. About something that's based off of a customer code, where it's based off of a shipping country, and again, we look at the value of the cart as well. So if we take something like this one here, this is saying use this product code, charge this amount. The metric we're using is the cart contents. So this is where, for example, while using using weights or using the value of your cart are the primary ways of structuring your shipping tiers. A question that comes up a lot is, well, what if I have a product like, it's regardless of like the weight and regardless of the price of the value of the cart, I have this product or set of products that are either bulky or they're not heavy, but they're bulky, and a courier will charge a lot to ship that particular product, that one product, maybe like a barrel or a length of timber. It's light, but it's bloody long, and you're going to be charged a lot for it. So you can absolutely, if you're doing this based off of weight, you could put a fake figure on your ERP system, and then we'd import that that value. So if your shipping, for example, was based off of the weight and if the shipping increases based off of the weight of your cart, you could put the value of that product in your ERP at such a record that when it would bring up the value of the weight of your cart. Or if you want to keep the ERP data correct and true, you could use this one here called cart contents. And what you would uses the rule type is that there's only one contains product code delimited, so you can put in multiple codes. There isn't a spreadsheet import facility, it is free text. So if you had something on a spreadsheet elsewhere, a list of product codes, by all means paste them in here. You can put in as many as you want. At least I don't think there's a limitation. In this case, it would be we have 1500B, and we're saying where 1500B is added to the cart, and the shipping method is express because we're in that express tier. Apply €15. So that's because we're in the express label we're specifically looking at. I could do the same thing for standard if I wanted. I could apply that service charge for standard. So that is just going to apply €15. So that works for the case of, like, again, imagine this is a big barrel and it's not an Xbox. My shipping charge was like $7.50 for a few small items, but I know that this barrel is going to cost me, €50 just to ship this by itself. So if I update this to be 50, go back here, and then that'll change that shipping to 50. It doesn't concatenate or join shipping charges. Just bear that in mind. It's not like the small shipping fee for the hacksaw is going to add on to what's there for the Xbox. It will be one or the other depending on the priority that's set. In this case, because it's the highest priority, that takes precedence. Something else that comes up every now and again is let me open up this. The customer code. So this customer code ACC2, this is a B2B customer. So this customer is set to actually get free shipping. Where is it? Yeah, this customer is set to get free shipping. So if I click into the Express, you can see here, this is again used customer code, amount is 0, where the customer code is one of this. So I can put in a customer code or choose from a list of loads of different customers that are on the system, that are on the ERP. The reason why this customer is still getting charged the €50 is because the top priority in this shipping rule is the cart contains the cart contents one. So that is a priority of 25. That is a priority of 20. So just to kind of demo that, I'm just going to take this product out of the cart and just put in something else. See if I can find something with a price. There we go. So they're getting free shipping on standard because that's the metric we had before. For standard, it's over €100, so they're getting free shipping. That's not tied to any particular customer account, that they're just getting that because it's over €100. If I choose Express, I mean, they should be getting a charge of what we have here as, again, we're in the Express tier now, not the standard tier. Cart net total, it should be charging €8 if the cart net total is equal to or greater than 100, but this customer has a priority higher than this free this €8 shipping tier. So they're getting their any orders for free. Any account here means that you can, if certain customers want to avail, or you want them to avail of free shipping, that's where you would add them in. But if I flip this, if I take, say, the inverse of this, saying that the customer should be charged, that this customer would be charged, sorry, wouldn't be charged for anything. Yeah, if this customer won't be charged for anything, even though there's a bulky item in play. So you can see here that the top priority is the customer code here, and then there's that bulky charge. So this should, as far as I know, this should omit. Yeah, so we're on Express, and we can see here it's not applying that charge to that customer because the top priority is the customer is free, and that's it. So that's a good way of kind of configuring those rules. In terms of actually setting up like these tiers, the ship to method and that, I suppose first of all you have to decide, your shipping, if you're just shipping it within a country, are you shipping to different counties? You can have this drop down list based off of counties, or different areas like that. In most cases it's countries, so we'll just use that kind of terminology just for the moment. So in the localization area, they need to be defined. So I think when you get a web shop out of the box, these sort of things are usually configured for you kind of from the get-go. So in this case, these are the countries that we have here. If you wanted to get a new country, type in how you want that country to display. You might want USA, you might want United States of America, you just want America, but the country code themselves are important, and you can't really get around this. Like you have to choose them. The reason being that when you're like maybe paying off, going to like a payment gateway or something, if you're paying by cash on a payment gateway, like PayPal, for example, they require an ISO code. So they'll require the specific ISO code for the countries. It's not something that you really have to think about. Just choose the country and it passes it in, but that's the reason why it's there. And the reason why that list is important to populate correctly is because when you are in your shipping tiers, it means that you're populating one of the variables that you want to choose as a metric. So if you were choosing the shipping country, that's what you're doing. Shipping zone is something similar, and that would be you kind of define a zone. So if I click into zip shipping zones, I can create a zone. So if I click a new zone and call it Europe 2, and then I just select my countries there. So you create the countries first of all, and you can create zones. So again, when you're in the shipping section, you've pre-populated the data that you want to use for the tools to create them. So now under Express, I don't have to click, shipping country, and then if it's applicable to if a rule is applicable to like 20 countries, I don't have to keep going in here and clicking this country and that country and this country. I can just click that zone, and then it just applies to any country. that rule will apply to any of those zones or the countries in those zones. That's the most important aspect of all that there. And like I mentioned, in terms of like creating a new tier. So if I wanted to create something that was new, say from the get-go, I would click new. Let's call this test. Test is inactive. I wanted to display as webinar, setting it to active. Again, make sure that the product code you use is a product code. Doesn't really matter here for this purpose. Then as I create my criteria, this in itself is pretty much a dummy, but if I go onto the front end of the web shop now, sometimes it can just take a few minutes for that cache to clear up. That's I'll come back to that in a few moments. Like I said, it can take a couple of minutes for that to kind of come into play. One of the other elements that have come in from time to time into the support desk and into myself has been kind of going by there's different levels of like kind of postcode restrictions. So we do have support for allowing shipping tiers to be based off of restrictions or charges that are based off of like postcodes. So you can use like regular expressions to take a wide variety of postcodes. You don't have to type in all of the postcodes, or you can use a variation of like saying, you know, if your postcode is like C15 and then you know kind of the next four numbers after that, you can have it set up so that you know anything with like C15 will have a rule applied to it. Just see if I can get something up here. I don't have a test for this at the moment, but I do have something that I can absolutely show. Let me show you. So this is a one of the setups that one of the sites that we have has a metric called postcode region check. Postcode region check, they've set different values. Those values have been configured. Let me see. Those postcodes have been configured in another settings page to be used. Excuse me. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so there's a screen we can give where you have under miscellaneous and shipping info, you can create different zones, call them designate how you want. This is something that's not publicly facing on the front end of the web shop. But what you'll find is that under postcodes, you can put in a list of all the postcodes that you want to create rules around. Take, for example, this one, D. There's a list of postcodes that are here. And then in the rules themselves, under the metrics, this happens to be a slightly custom one called postcode region check, but it's similar enough to the standard method as well. But under postcode region check, we're saying if the postcode region check is one of the value of D, now it is taking other metrics into account. It's looking at whether the value of the cart is under £250, and if it's with this account code, and if its cart contains a bulky item, etc. So it is looking at different variations as well, but it's either going to charge an amount or not allow shipping to that region based off of the product that product is set to, because that cart contains a bulky item. So there's lots of different ways to do that. Again, you'd have to come into support or myself, and we'll be able to kind of put you in touch with the right people to get something like that set up. And just to very briefly touch on something based off of weight. So the demo system that I have here at the moment is currently set up for pricing. There is another setup where we have it set up for weights. So just to briefly show what that kind of configuration would be, if we take something like this, one of the metrics we have here is where the metric is pricing gross weight. So in this customer's implementation, it can be done based off of the net weight or the gross weight. This just happens to be something that was pulled from their ERP system. So we've taken in the weights of those products, and they're stored in our database. So what the rule is to charge this fee where the sum is less than or equal to this. Now, they have their weights stored as grams. Each product is designated as a kilogram or 1,000 grams. So the way that they have it configured is charge 413 plus VAT if the sum is less than or equal to something that's just shy of 6 kg. When I mentioned earlier on about being specific in the rules, the reason why we have it separated by 1.01 of a gram is because all of the products are 1 kilo. The cart is only ever going to come in at, in the background of like 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6. So the second that this customer hits, this is the cart. This is the cart where it's 5 products. Those products are 1,000 grams, so it's 5,000 grams, 5 kilos. So it's applying the shipping. If I was to add in an extra product, that brings it up to 6. So that briefly brings it into 6,000 grams or 6 kilograms. So now that is removing the shipping fee. But so it's again, it's very similar to the way it is if it's based off of price. Yeah, I suppose it all depends on how you want to manage that catalog. Is it weight? Is it cost? Depends on the type of product you would sell, I would imagine. Cool. In terms of, just lastly, I just wanted to touch on some of the advanced sections of shipping. So like Lindsay had mentioned earlier on, we do support kind of split carts and postcode integration. What I just showed you a moment ago is how you would manually add in your postcodes and manage your postcodes, and that's fine. The postcode integration would be a service that you'd sign up to yourself with ePostcode. There's probably other providers, but the one we've used before has been ePostcode. With ePostcode, you essentially buy credits, and and then the amount of times customers will go on to your site, your web shop, they will be essentially using two metrics for this, or two fields, either on the this page that we have here on the checkout page. There'll be an additional field to check your postcode, and that postcode would return a list of possible. You'd have a pre-configured in the web shop management interface to have a subset of those postcodes. The postcode would essentially populate your full delivery address by you just typing in your postcode, and it just finds your exact address. But concurrently, using the checkout page here, it would check to see if that product can be delivered to your location. And as far as the split carts, this is one of the demo systems that Lindsay just showed off earlier on. We do have somebody currently using this as well. If you look up these guys here, we can see here, this is quite simplistic in how it's set up, where something is for delivery, something is for collection. If we look up somebody like this customer of ours, Tippers, we can see so you can see here they have a postcode checker as well. So that links back into a section where you would denote different tiers for different postcodes to see, cement. They might not be able to deliver cement to an area because, they're down here, it's up at the far end of the country. How much is it going to cost to deliver a bag of cement? Is it really worth it? Probably not. And then there's branches. You're choosing your home branch, and then you have to decide which is more applicable to you. So that's why the whole idea of the split cart is that some products can be set for collection, some products can be set for delivery. So it can be complex, but once the rules are in place, it makes it quite easy to manage. You just have to know how your ideal shipping scenario works first of all, and then whether it's you've been able to manage it afterwards with shipping services. Our customer success and project managers will be able to help you configure your shipping how you want it to be using all of these features. And I think that's it by and large. I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen here, and then we'll start taking some questions. One moment. Now, I'll just take a quick look and see if we've any. Let's see. Okay. Let me see. Don't actually see any questions here today. Not yet, anyway. Okay. We probably went. I think we'll probably, if there's no questions, maybe it all made sense. That's okay. Okay. Well, look, guys. As myself and Lindsay mentioned earlier on, feel free to come into us as regards any of the aforementioned smart packs. If you come to myself, I'll pass you over to Lindsay. Lindsay's email is there at lturner@experlogix.com. You'll still get her at lindsay@aphixsoftware.com, and she can be also contacted through the main sales email at sales@aphixsoftware.com. If there's any questions from today's webinar that isn't clear, please do contact me on my own email address, cdunphy@experlogix.com. If there's any questions, fire them over to me and I'll see if I can answer them. If the customer success team will be bringing more content and some training refreshers over the next few months for the foreseeable future. So stay tuned for more content. As mentioned, like I said, we will be replying to anyone who comes in afterwards. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.